So hello everyone, it's Jan Muta, the Chief Market Analyst at TO Markets here. And in this event, we are going to look at one of the biggest problems that traders have. 95% of traders struggle, and one of the biggest reasons they do struggle is that their mind is not trained for trading success. And I have put this webinar together so that you have a framework that you can use to build up the proper sort of attitude and psychology that will help you to succeed in trading. And if you are ready to work hard, if you are ready to put in the hours needed, I mean, you're ready to risk your money anyway. So it kind of makes sense that you would be ready to put in the hours that are needed and put in the discipline and the effort that is needed in order to succeed in trading. And I mean, the internet is full of different kind of strategies. You can go there and pick up the strategy you like, but if your mind isn't trained properly, then it's really difficult to use those strategies in a way that you can achieve your trading goals and dreams. Okay, so this is going to be an event where you are most welcome to ask any questions you have, and I don't like to talk all the time myself. I would love to see your questions and comments, so let me know what you think. In this workshop, we'll cover the role of our limbic system, and we'll talk about the subconscious mind. This, subconscious mind actually has a huge impact on what we do. And you'll be surprised. In this webinar, I'm sure you'll be surprised to see how much of an impact it has over what we do. We kind of think that we know what we are doing. We make decisions based on reason and logic and facts, but none of that could be farther from the truth. There is actually a way to use the logic, the reasons, and the facts, but you need to use them in a certain way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Then we talk about the importance of positive memories and obviously the big one, how to overcome fear and greed. So once you put in the hours, once you do the work, people will see you being successful. But you will know all of this. There'll be failures, there'll be setbacks, there'll be people who say that, it's never going to work. You'll have doubts, and it's all of this will be part of the package. We can't sort of get away from this. It's going to be there. But if you put in the hard work, if you do if you make the sacrifices, and you have dedication, you have persistence, and you have passion for trading, you will get to the point where you can say, I have achieved my goals for trading success. I'm very happy with what I have. Does it mean that you will never have losing trades? No, it doesn't mean that. There'll be losing trades. There'll be the cost of doing this business. There will be the movie ticket to see how the story ends, how your story as a trader ends. But you just have to make sure you have the right mindset, you have the right psychology, and you have the right skills all coming together, and then there's a high probability that you will be eventually successful. Okay. This is where many of us are today. We have these typical psychological roadblocks. We have overconfidence. We have one good day of trading, and then greed steps in. We start thinking that, okay, we can handle this. We are pros. We are better than the others. and then suddenly overconfidence and greed together, they'll trip us to do some silly stuff. I've gone through that so many times, and I still do, and I have to go back to the drawing board every now and then and say, okay, this wasn't good. I need to learn from this. I need to correct my mistakes and then move on. Then there'll be FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see that the market is coming to your support level and you've been planning to buy there, but then you start thinking, okay, maybe I should buy a little higher just in case the market turns here and starts to move in the direction I was expecting it to. Because it's quite it's so frustrating to see the market. You do all the analysis, and I've been there. I've done this. I see market doing all the right things, and I'm doing the analysis right, and I see that the market is coming down to my support level now, and I'm looking to buy, and then the market just takes off without me. I never had the opportunity to actually execute the trades and go long. So that's something that happens every now and then in the markets, and that is the fear of missing out. That's the source of FOMO. That's how the fear of missing out is created in us. And the problem is, obviously, if we don't control our FOMO, we start buying too high, and in those cases, the market goes to the support, and sometimes even further below the support level, and we bought too early. In those occasions, and they happen quite often, it easily happens that it can easily happen that we are a little bit anxious after we get into that trade because we didn't follow our plan. And then the market fluctuates a little longer, and we decide, okay, this is not worth it. We're feeling uncomfortable. Let's get out of this trade. And then the market starts to go in our direction. And that's how the FOMO can actually trip us into doing something that wasn't in the plan, and that messes up our psychology, and we miss out the good trades. Okay, then there are people who have problems in accepting that they are wrong. And that trading is actually a wrong business for them. They are so arrogant or insecure. These things obviously often go together. If you meet arrogant people or aggressive people, they are often very insecure people, but they just cover it by being arrogant and somehow aggressive. Now, these people find it very difficult to trade because trading is a business where you are taking losing trades, sometimes more, sometimes less, but they happen often on daily basis. The more you trade, the more losing trades you will have. Then there'll be those that have false sense of duty. They see the market going against them, and they move their stops, and they have decided in their mind, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to save this trade. I'm not going to let it go against me so much. Or I'm not going to let the market sort of kick me out of this trade. I'm going to turn this around. So these people usually buy more and more and more, and the market goes down more and more and more, and suddenly they have a 40% drawdown in their hands. And that's awful. That's enough to destroy not only your trading capital, but also your mental capital. You have to take care of your mental capital. And this is why you are here. This is why I have put together this webinar, because I know that so many people have these problems. We need to make sure that we preserve our mental capital. Okay, then stubborn people are not very good traders because they think that they cannot give up. They can't draw the line and say, okay, now I'm not going to trade anymore because I'm again, let me put it this another way. We should always have a limit per trade basis and per day basis and per week basis, where we say, okay, now I have this amount of losses. I maybe have 2%, 4%, 6% of losses for today or for this week, whatever is your trading plan and your psychology dictating. But if there is, say, 6% drawdown for a day, then it's better to stop, because then that means that you are doing something wrong. But these people who are stubborn, they say, I'll never give up. And that's the wrong way of looking at it. And obviously there'll be people who have need for action. That leads to over trading. We love to trade. We love the action. That's why we follow the 1 minute charts. And some people even follow the smaller time frames, because it's action. And that action is the need for action is a big problem. I actually read about a psychological study where people were put in an empty room. There was a table, and they had nothing to listen, nothing to look at, and the only thing they could do was to give themselves electrical shocks. And most people, this is actually quite amazing, most people actually give themselves electrical shocks rather than just sit still and wait. So you have to understand that there are these mechanisms in your mind, and if you are not aware of these, you might actually start trading because you just are bored or you just need the action. It's kind of similar to those people who give themselves electrical shocks. In trading, this need for action usually doesn't lead to profits. It just leads to losing trades. And it means that John is saying that this is a summary of me 4 months ago. Oh my. Hey Solani, welcome to the webinar. Oh my. John, I hope that 4 months from now you'll be able to tell me that you are actually moving forward, and I'm sure this will help you, this webinar. Okay, so just briefly, if you don't have an account with TO Markets yet, go to tomarkets.com/contact, ask for more details about VIP Black. It's a great trading environment. You get very low fees, no commissions per lot fees, and you get no monthly subscription fees anymore, and razor tight spreads. So it's a great trading environment, and this is the way you can get it. Go to tomarkets.com, and this only takes 1 minute, I promise you. But go to tomarkets.com, put in your name, email, country, choose the regulator, and there's the button you need to hit. And then once you've done that, you'll get an email from us. You get wallet ID and the password you created yourself when you registered. And then obviously you need to download the MT4 and 5 or MT4 or MT5, and you'll get another email from us. This is from the client area. If you want to open an account, and when you want to open an account, you actually need two of those. You need live account for trading, you need a demo account for practicing, and this is where you do that. You open those. In the download center, you can go and download the MT4 or 5, and if you go to click this green button here, that's where you can deposit. So you need to obviously fund your account so you can start trading, and you can see the deposit options here. If ever you need to reset the password, and this is where you do it. You choose the account, and then you go to account settings and you reset the password, and you get another email from us. So here's my background. Obviously the question is, why should you listen to me? A lot of people are just analysts for brokers. I think the reason you should listen to me is that I have experience from both the institutional and retail side, and I have been trading and analyzing the market since 1998, so I have over 20 years of experience, and I can teach you a couple of things that I've learned over the years. I'm actively trading the markets myself, so I'm not just theorizing. And you can go to tiomarkets.com/analysis, and you can see there that the analysis that I do is actually pretty good. This might sound like bragging, but I'm just saying it's useful. It's good stuff. Like yesterday, I was talking about oil being extended and possibly. I was saying in the morning report that the oil market is possibly extended and vulnerable to good news from Russia-Ukraine conflict. And hour later, the news came that Russia wants to take some and withdraw some troops. And what happened yesterday? Oil traded down about over 4% from the levels that I was referring to. So it is good stuff. I highly recommend you go there. It's tiomarkets.com/analysis, and that will take you to the analysis page. Where you can register, and you get an email alert every day. So I guess that's enough. I'm just going to show you this briefly. This was the oil. Oil was trading up there yesterday morning, and I drew this analysis yesterday. The channel, the lines were obviously a little bit different because I update them on a daily basis, but the market traded down right to the channel low and bounced higher from there. So anybody who actually followed the analysis was able to go here, look at the market, okay, and make a decision there at the level when the market came down to this support level here, and traded higher from there. So I highly encourage you to go there and take a look because you learn so much. But we don't provide any investment advice, and you should watch this webinar or the video only if you agree with this disclaimer and with the fact that this is only for educational purposes. So, okay, let's get down to the business. Training your mind for trading success. This is what this webinar is really about. First, I want to talk about amygdala, but let me take a drink. And while, read this through, and I'm going to take a drink. Okay, there's this little part in our brain called the amygdala. It's basically it's responsible for assessing and responding to environmental threats around us. Anything that we think that might be harmful to us, amygdala actually reacts to it. And this is, by the way, important for you to know, highly important for you to know if you are going to be a trader. Because this is not only about your psychology, this is also about your biology. These things actually work against you if you don't know how to train them. And amygdala is in a key role in that respect. So the main job of the amygdala is to regulate emotions, such as fear and aggression. Amygdala is also involved in tying emotional meaning to our memories, in reward processing and decision making. So, this bit here tells you why this is highly important for you and for me too, obviously. We need to understand this, how it acts and operates, and we need to understand how to retrain the brain so that the amygdala stays under control. Okay, so this little almond-shaped part of our brain its job is to compare new information to memories that we have. Another key phrase here. Remember this as we move on. Amygdala compares new information to memories. And it activates when a threat is present. You sometimes hear people talking about it's a fairly sort of a popular topic among traders and trader coaches to talk about amygdala and its role. And so sometimes you hear people saying that, okay, it's just something that was inherited from the time that we were fighting the tigers in the woods, in the jungle, or something similar, and it's nowadays completely just a hindrance and unnecessary in the modern society. But that's not true. You still need this. You still need this in traffic. You need to understand when there are situations where you really just have to run because that car is coming over you. It's going to run over you if you don't be careful and you run off that road. If somebody comes towards you with a gun or knife, you need to understand that this situation might be actually somehow not that pleasant, and it could be actually dangerous. So you need the amygdala, but when you're trading, it needs to be under control, and this is what this webinar is about. So when it activates, it increases blood flow to other parts of the body. It increases the blood flow and oxygen delivery in order to enable us to fight or run away, so that there's more blood, there's more oxygen in our limbs. And this actually leaves less oxygen for your brain. So if amygdala activates while you are trading, and it often does, if there is no control mechanisms for it, then it means that you are actually more dumb than usually. Think about it. If you get angry, if you get fearful when you're trading, parts of your brain actually shut down because of the blood flow into your limbs. There's less oxygen for your brain. There's less blood for your brain. So some of the parts of your brain shut down, and only those parts that are deemed by our system as the most important for fighting or fleeing, only those parts remain active. And this creates something that we really don't want to have when we are trading. We don't want to become dumber than we usually are. I mean, sometimes I feel I'm dumb enough anyway, so I really don't want amygdala sort of making the things worse. So that basically just makes it more difficult to make analyzed decisions. Now, the role of the amygdala was to do with decision making, but also with emotions and rewards. So that's important to remember. And we know from the scientific studies that emotional experiences create more powerful memories than other experiences. So if you have, take example, something that happened in your childhood. If you can think back to your childhood now, you are probably going to remember something that caused you some big distress or some great happiness, because those emotions embed the memories into your brain better than something trivial that just didn't impact your emotions at all. So our subconscious takes these memories and uses them to make comparisons to the new situations we face. In psychology, these are called schemes. We have these schemes that we use to interpret the present, the information that comes in, the data that we receive through our ears and sight and all the senses. We use those schemes to interpret the present data. And this is where these memories that were created by those past experiences are so strong. My daughter actually, it just say, I think it's now about 4 months ago, she happened to cut part of her finger off, very tip of a thumb, and it actually grew back. So it's a whole thumb now. It's okay now, but that experience was so emotionally charged that she flinches each time now when she sees a knife. She feels very uncomfortable. And that's a good example of emotional experience creating a memory that stays there and impacts her reactions when she sees a knife again. And try to remember this example in this webinar, because this mechanism can be very useful to you if you understand it correctly, but this can be very harmful to your trading if you just ignore it. So we have emotional experiences that create powerful memories, that create powerful subconscious thought processes, and these create actions. And then there are other experiences that do create memories, and we might remember that in the past, on that and that such and such day, we went to do some shopping, but it's not really an emotional memory. So it creates some subconscious thought processes, but usually those don't translate into actions. This is actually something that I was very surprised to read. Eric Richard Kandel is an American neuropsychiatrist, and he has received a Nobel Prize for his research. And he noticed in his research that before we make a conscious decision to move our hands, even before we are aware that we are going to move our hand, before we made the decision and understood that we are moving the hand, an electrical potential appears in our brains that can be detected by computers, and that electrical potential precedes the conscious decision to move our hands. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? I find this incredible. Then there are other scientists who think that actually everything is done by subconscious, and the conscious mind is just like an interpreter that translates the language of subconscious into a language that we can understand, and other people around us can understand. So that's what they think. And based on this, we have to conclude, based on the role of amygdala and the emotional experiences creating these powerful memories, and them creating powerful subconscious thought processes, and then those turning into actions, then we have to actually conclude that it is our subconscious mind that makes the trading decisions. Think about this. I mean, make a note of it and start thinking about it on a daily basis. Think about the implications of this. This is massive. This is so huge. It's not about the different strategies we learn. It's about how our minds are trained, how the subconscious mind is trained, so that we can make the right trading decisions. Does this make sense to you? Or do you strongly disagree? Let me know in the chat. Think about, if this is true, then what does it mean for a day trader who has to make hundreds of split-second decisions during a trading day? Even if you are only taking, say, 5 to 10 trades per day, some people are making 50 to 100 trades per day, and some people are trading even more. But even if you're taking 5 to 10 trades, there are lots of situations during the trading day when you're looking at the charts and you think, okay, am I going to take a trade, or am I going to just stay in cash? Am I going to just stay flat a little longer, or go long or short? Those are decisions also. And you have to make these decisions during the trading day. Okay, I did ask if this makes sense. Let me see your answers. Can you follow the logic here? Can you agree with the logic, or do you strongly disagree? Let me see some answers. Because otherwise this is going to be just me talking, and that's boring. Luke is saying, this does make a lot of sense to me. I think you can definitely suffer decision fatigue on some days. Better to stay in cash before making a bad decision. Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because we love to trade. We are here to trade. We have put money on our account to trade. We think that we are traders. We have allocated time, money, effort. We have assumed a certain sort of role that we are traders. And because of those things, we feel that we have to trade. And because of FOMO, and because of everything else, because we told our friend yesterday that we made so much money, then we feel obligated to make so much money again. And that actually can lead to over trading. Paulo is saying, I agree, it makes sense. Solani agrees. John says, it makes sense. I have heard of the amygdala today. Adnan agrees. Okay, good. By the way, you can disagree with me. I don't mind. But yeah, I mean, this stuff is something that most traders just have to agree. We've been through the emotions, we've been through the bad trades, the good trades, and yeah, we know that this stuff is true. Okay, so in the light of this, when training the mind for trading, it is imperative to create the right kind of emotional experiences, the right kind of habits. It's so imperative to strengthen our ability to be disciplined. I just read this text the other day, just 2 days ago. It was in a newspaper article. That discipline is like a muscle. It can be trained. And I put it here because I agree. If you just sit at your computer every day, take a few trades, go away, come back, do something else, concentrate on 5 different things at the same time, and take trades in a sort of nonchalant, non-committed way, that's not disciplined trading, and that leads to very undisciplined mind. And if you're undisciplined in all things in your life, if you eat whatever, if you drink too much alcohol, if you smoke, if you don't train an exercise, if you don't pay your bills in time, if you don't eat regularly, if you don't have a regular sleeping pattern, it means you are undisciplined. Then you really cannot expect to be disciplined in your trading. Let me repeat that. You cannot expect to be disciplined in your trading if the rest of your life is being undisciplined. Wilfred is saying this is helping me a lot because sometimes I get greedy. Yeah, I know. We all do. But maybe after this, you have a framework of things that you can put in practice and learn to be less greedy. And over time, you will actually find success. Okay, desires shape our actions. We all know the saying that when there's a will, there is a way. And there's also a saying about the markets, everybody gets what he or she wants from the markets. So be very careful what you want. Do you want trading? Do you want excitement? Do you want some just entertainment? I'm sure you'll get that. I mean, everybody gets what they want out of the markets. But if you are going to look back after 20 years of excitement, of trading, of entertainment, are you going to be happy with it? I mean, live today in such a way that you can be proud about it tomorrow and in 10, 20 years' time too. Are you sure you really want to be a trader who trades and trades and trades just for the sake of it? Or do you want to look back after 20 years and say, okay, 60% of the time I've been profitable, they've been losing days, but most of the time I've been making money. I have been able to pay my house, my car, my living. Think about it. If you want to be the latter kind of person, then it means that you need to become disciplined. You need to have the desire to succeed in discipline. You need to have the desire to succeed in taking only the trades that are in your trading plan. You have to have the desire to be successful, so much of this desire that you actually go and write down a very detailed trading plan and follow it. Most people don't have a trading plan, and those that do, most of them don't follow the plan. It's sad. Anyway, you can be different, and that's why you're here. So that's a great start. I really like the fact that you are there, because that actually tells me that you are serious about this stuff. You want to get out of this awful vicious circle where you just lose money and get frustrated, deposit more, you lose money and get frustrated, you deposit more. That's not a life worth living, really. So think what kind of feedback loop you want to build, because you are gonna build. You are actually all the time building feedback loops. But you just have to decide what kind of feedback loop you want to build. So if your actions create wrong kind of emotional experiences that are stored in your nervous system as wrong kind of emotionally charged memories, then you are setting yourself up for a repetition of past failures. All you get in the future is just more of the same, just more of the same old. Is that what you really want? Ask yourself. Take a screenshot of this. Print it out. write it in your maybe print it out and you stick the paper on your fridge door or something, somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis. If your actions create wrong kind of emotional experiences, then you are creating a feedback loop that will make sure you are not achieving your goals. You're not getting the success that you want to get. So what you have to ask yourself is, are you sure you want to build a vicious circle? If your actions create wrong kind of emotional experiences, then you are setting yourself up for a failure. You are setting yourself up for a repetition of past failures. But the good news is, there is a way to create a virtuous circle. You can create positive experiences. You can create memories that are positively charged. You can create positive habits and then trading success. By creating positive experiences, you are creating memories that are positively charged. And those memories that you create today help you to establish positive habits. And once you have established positive habits and your past is full of positive memories, you are on your path to trading success. So let's go to this system that all this has been sort of prepping you to understand why this is so important. Okay, this is, if you want to study more about this, you should get a book by Mark Douglas called Trading in the Zone. Mark Douglas, he has sadly passed already, but he was an excellent trader, an excellent trading coach. I just love his books and videos. So you can get this stuff in the internet. You can watch his videos, but I really recommend get the book called Trading in the Zone. Now, Mark Douglas has this strategy of helping you, or framework that helps you to become successful. It's been proven time and again. I love it. It just works for me, and I know it works for you too. So, first of all, you need to choose. Step one, you need to choose a trading strategy. The options are: you create your own, you purchase one from a reliable source, or you adopt one from YouTube. YouTube is full of different trading strategies. If you want one that I have published, that's an RSI system that uses discretion, because not all RSI signals are created equal. Some are better than others. So you can go to Chief Market's YouTube channel and find the RSI video there. You can create a trading strategy around that RSI system. But the most important thing is that you have something that suits your personality by the frequency and the risk profile. You can't trade something that you don't trust. You need to test the system, you need to study the system, you need to know its weaknesses and strengths. And this is where we come to the step 2. Go and forward test the strategy using a demo account. Remember when I said you need 2 accounts, you need one for testing and one for real trading. One is your test environment, and the other is your production environment. So forward a test, your strategy. That basically means that you every day trade the signals from the strategy and you make notes. You take screenshots, you write notes, and you put those screenshots in a PowerPoint presentation, and you keep a trading diary or a trading journal, and you come back to those screenshots and notes on a weekly basis to learn what actually was beneficial and what wasn't, what worked, what didn't, and then you move forward from there, doing more of that, more of the stuff that works and less of the stuff that doesn't work. So in this strategy of yours, when you create it, you need to make sure that every trade entry and every trade exit is rule-based. Hey, Tsepo, lovely to hear that. Tsepo is saying that this webinar is really helping me. What about the others? Do you feel this is helpful? Is this something that you will come back to and watch again and apply in your trading? Okay, the reason I'm emphasizing this trade entry and exit being rule-based idea is the reason is that if there's a lot of guessing involved in your trades, it's difficult to create a system that you follow strictly. It's more easy to actually deviate and be undisciplined if the system isn't clearly defined by your trading entry and exit rules. And obviously you'll need rules for market exposure also, meaning your position sizing. So if your stop is 20 pips away, how much do you risk in that trade? Or do you have a fixed percentage per trade that you're going to risk, say 0.5%, 1%, or 2% if you are more experienced? And then you can just, based on that percentage value, you can calculate how far your stop needs to be. Or, sorry, the stop can be at any reasonable distance, say like 1 or 2 ATRs away if you have this percentage-based system. Because it means that if your stop is further away from your entry, say 30 pips instead of 20, then it means you just have a smaller position and your risk stays the same. So you need all of these systems written down and followed religiously, day in, day out. So make sure every trade entry and exit is rule-based, and then you just follow those rules, because trading isn't about being creative and being a gung-ho, being something that a big trader from New York who just trades in millions and billions and just does it while updating his social media profile. Trading is about executing a predetermined plan. Trading is about execution of a strategy. So you never execute one trade. Remember that. You always execute a strategy, because one trade can go up or down. There's no way of knowing what the outcome will be. When you take the trade, you cannot know anything. All that you know, and this is what Douglas emphasizes a lot, all you know is that something is going to happen. You either will have a profit or you will have a loss. But once you have 100 trades, then based on that sample size, you can make predictions for the next 100 trades. You can know to a certain extent, you can know that, okay, this system is likely to produce such and such results because the previous 100 trades produced say 20% or 10% or whatever. So you never know what happens with one trade, but you can know what's likely to happen with a big number of trades. So once you have this, once you have the trade and entry and exit rules very clearly written down, then you follow your rules without any exceptions. You just make no exception. You follow exactly the plan. Otherwise, you are not executing the strategy you have planned. You are executing something else. You might be executing the news, the comments from the friends, your hopes, your fears, and then you have no clear path to follow in the future. You have no reliable results. You have nothing to evaluate your performance on, because it's not a performance of a strategy. It's not the P&L isn't created by a strategy. It's created by multiple arbitrary things that are impacted by your emotions. And once you have a number of trades, then you can evaluate the strategy based on the outcome. You want to know what was the profit factor, i.e. how much profits the system made relative how many losses the system made, or how much losses the system made, and the maximum drawdown. There's lots of other statistics that you can look at, but those are the most important. If your profit factor is above 1, that's good, then the system is profitable. That means that all the profits totaled divided by the total losses gives you a positive number, say 1.7 or 1.5 or 1.2. Then once we've done this, once we've completed step 2, Marcella is saying that the trading plan is where I'm struggling. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. Okay. You need to create the trading plan. You need to study this topic. You need to see what needs to go into it. But and we don't have time to cover all of this now. Maybe in a future webinar we do that. That's actually a very good topic for a webinar. But make sure you have a trading plan. Once you have a strategy that you follow, then you will have not only the missing piece of the puzzle, but you have a piece in your soul, or at least in your mind. Okay, then the step 3. Now you start training your emotions to execute the strategy. And Douglas is suggesting that you trade in 20 trade patches or 25 trade patches. And this is actually very helpful because it is easier to be disciplined if you think that you only have 20 trades to be disciplined with. You take a trade, you exit the trade, and you repeat that 20 times. But before you do that, you need to decide what's the maximum risk over these 20 trades. If you're saying, if you're saying that the maximum I can afford to lose over 20 trades is 20% of the trading account, or $200 of a $1,000 account, then you obviously risk 1% per trade. That makes sense, right? And you keep the risk constant throughout this sample of 20 trades. And then you do evaluation. Then you see what was good about this strategy. How big was the drawdown? How much profits it generated? What was the profit factor? And the rule changes are allowed only between the trade samples, between these batches of 20 trades. So once you have 20 trades completed without any trading failures, without any trading mistakes, then you know that you have a good sample that you can study. Right? And then if you're not happy with something, then obviously you can make changes. Yeah? No changes inside the 20 trade sample size. Only after the sample is in. You can study it on Saturday, Sunday, and see if you're ready to trade the same system next week, or if something needs to be changed. If you make a change, you keep it constant, you keep the strategy unchanged for the next 20 trades. You can do this with basically either in your demo account stage, so that you train, you create the system, you're happy with it, but once you are happy with the system, you need to go to your real account and start risking some money. It might be as little as $1 per trade or $5 per trade, or if it's like, $100 over 20 trades, you need to decide what's the maximum risk I can handle. Go to the smallest, go as small as needed in order to achieve or to reach a level where your emotions aren't involved. That's very important. Make sure your emotions aren't involved and you're able to execute your strategy without any emotional involvement. Because all of us have had two big risks in the past. We've all blown accounts in the past, and those experiences have charged our memories and nervous system negatively. And you might have heard this, but it's said that one negative comment takes about 11 to 12 positive comments, so that it's overwritten from your nervous system. And the same goes with trading. If you've had lots of bad experiences in the past that have charged your emotions with fear, then you need to go to such a small trading risk that it doesn't impact your feelings. It just doesn't mean anything to you. We're not making money with this. We are creating a peace of mind. We are making sure we have peace of mind. We first have to make sure we have a strategy that has positive expectancy, that we can happy with execution of the strategy. But even then, if something needs to be changed, never change it inside the 20 trade sample, only between the trade samples. And then you start repeating these 20 trade samples until you are confident that you can execute the strategy without any emotional involvement. And then you can up the trading size. Then you can say, okay, now instead of risking $200 over these 20 trades, I'm going to risk $300. And then you repeat. And if you can still execute, and this is something that Mark Douglas emphasizes, underlines, and talks a lot about, is that you need to only increase the trading size as much as you can without any emotional involvement. If your emotions start to get involved, then you have to cut back your trading size. Go to a size that doesn't impact your emotions. I have a friend who's a psychologist, and she said that trading is a funny business. The more you need it, the less likely you are less likely you are successful in it. So the more you need trading, the less likely you are going to be successful. But the less you need it, less emotional attachment there is to trading, the higher the probabilities of your success. Now, just quickly here before we finish, trading mistakes could include, this is not a full list, and I'm sure there's loads of other mistakes, but they could include like entries before a signal. We talked about this already. Then no entry after a signal, or exit without a signal to exit, or no exit after a signal to exit comes, or we trade either too big or too small. Once you are able to execute your strategy without those mistakes happening, then you are sort of graduating from that grade and you can move on to bigger trading size. All right, guys, what do you think? Let me know. I find this so fascinating, and I find this so helpful also, that this gives me, after all these years, the structure that I need in my trading. It focuses my mind to the process instead of the profits. So give me some ideas, give me some thoughts now. How do you feel about this? What sort of thoughts this brings to your mind? What sort of comments you'd like to make after listening to this? You've all said that it makes sense and it's helpful. Are you going to implement this in your trading now? Trading is funny business. It is something that if we start focusing on the proceeds, on the money itself, the emotions are involved. But if we focus on the process instead of proceeds, then we have an opportunity to be successful. Aline is saying that I will look at how I trade in a new light. Okay, that's very good. I like that. We need a new perspective on what we do every now and then, and especially with trading. And I strongly encourage you to go and get Mark Douglas's book. It's so good. And I'm gonna give you a URL here in the chat box. It's tomarkets.com/analysis. So go there, register for the daily analysis, because I'm giving you ideas every morning on what you might want to trade, what the direction might be, where are the key levels, how to trade those markets around those key levels, what are the themes that markets are focused on, etc. John is saying this was indeed helpful. Thanks a lot. I will devote to use the information to my program to program my mind for trading. Excellent. I'm very happy to hear that, John. Luke is saying, excuse me, I feel like the concepts you just discussed is something most traders are not consistent. Oh, this is difficult. I've been talking for an hour now. I'm losing my ability to talk. But yeah, not consistently aware, but really need it to be. Going to read that book. Yeah, look, that's good. This book is a good one. Marcella is saying that it's the reminder of the remainder of February and March. I'm going to go back to my demo account. Won't take any unplanned trades until I'm satisfied with my system. That's good. Wilfred, are there any sites you know that have good signals? I've been studying the Euro USD pair for 2 years now, and I must say I'm getting better every day. Hey, Wilfred, that's excellent. I wouldn't trust somebody else's signals. you need to have the understanding how the market works. And I'm actually very much encouraging you to go and keep on studying Euro USD, because if it's helpful, if you're finding that you are learning and getting better, that's the most important thing. You don't have to be a successful trader tomorrow, and you won't be, but you might be in 6 months time, years time, 18 months time. But the main thing, and this is how I actually think about success. If I can learn something today that makes me a better trader tomorrow, then I am successful. If I can learn something today that makes me better tomorrow, then I'm moving forward. Then I'm being successful. Solani is saying, I'm going to review my trading plan and make some few changes. Excellent. Good. By the way, do you have any ideas for new future webinars? Something that you would love me to look into, and then hopefully give you some new insights in that topic. You can either type those in now, or you can email me support@tiomarkets.com and ask them to forward the email to me. Muhammad is saying, thanks, a great webinar. You're most welcome, Muhammad. I'm really happy if this helped you. And guys, implement this and let me know either via email or in the future webinars how you have been doing, how helpful and how helpful the stuff has been, and what sort of challenges you have faced, and what sort of successes you have had. Excellent, guys. Thank you so much for this, and I'm gonna switch off the recording now, and then we can talk about some other practicalities. But thank you, and hopefully you'll be much more successful in the future.